2. Pass the sauce. So what were you and your friend talking about in the tree? Asked Grandad when I get back to his house. What, Grandad? You and your friend? I saw you talking earlier. Oh, nothing, I say, cutting a piece of meat. We were just talking about school, I add, thinking quickly. We're doing a project together in science. I feel bad for telling Jake about Grandad's past, and from the way Grandad skipped the subject earlier, I think he may have enough of talking about it for one day. What are we doing tonight? I ask brightly, trying to change the topic. Learning about chess, of course. Grandad puts a piece of bread in his mouth. Still learning, Grandad, I say. When are we actually going to play a game? I am thinking this will be soon. Grandad picks up his glass. For a moment, I think he might be smiling, but it could just be his lips looking wonky through the water. But it's been ages, Grandad, I say. I wait for him to reply, but all he does is chew food and drink water. Practicing all the time is so frustrating. It's like driving 1,000 practice laps in Forza without actually being able to race. I cut another piece of meat and put it in my mouth. Grandad suddenly puts his knife and fork down and asks, "Can you see the board?" What, Grandad? Can you see the board? Yes, I nod at the cheese board. Why? Do you want it? No, not that one. The chess board in here. He taps the side of my head with his finger. What? My jaw drops. How did you know I see chessboards? Because I put them there, just like my father did to me. Now, can you see it? But we're eating. Grandad raises his eyebrows. All right, I say. I stare ahead at the wall and concentrate. Okay, I say. I can see it. And if you look at the table, you can still see it. Yes. Okay, so where's your fork? It's here. I pick up the fork. No, what square is it on? C1? One moment. I am thinking I need to recalibrate my board. Grandad closes his eyes, then opens them again like a shutter on a camera. That is better, he says. It's like synchronizing watches. We have to start in the same place. We have to see the same thing. But yes, I see your fork is at C1. And your knife? F1? Yes, this is good. They are your bishops. Now, take your plate out of the way. I move my plate to the end of the table. Grandad does the same, then hands me the jars of pickle and mustard. Put them between your bishops, he says. The pickle is your queen and the mustard is your king. I laugh. Right. Grandad hands me a bread roll. Rip it into 8 little pieces and roll them between your palms, like this. He shows me a piece of bread that he's now rolled into a ball the same size as a marble. These are your pawns. We have 8 each. I break my bread roll into 8 pieces. This is weird, but I can't stop myself smiling as I place the balls of bread in a line in front of my mustard and pickle. Grandad does the same on his side of the table, except his king is a jar of strawberry jam, his queen has blackcurrant jam, and his bishops are a knife and fork too. Then he says we should have 2 sauce bottles, each for rooks, and 2 gherkins for our knights. Okay, he says. Are you ready? Yes. Wonderful. Now, I will pick up a piece of bread and move it to E4. He moves the bread. And what do? I ask. You move your bread to C5. I pick up a ball of bread and move it as Grandad said. Wonderful, says Grandad. Now, I move my gherkin to F3. Grandad moves his gherkin. I don't know exactly what we are doing, but Grandad's smile is as wide as mine feels. Right, he says, tapping another piece of bread. Now, you move this to D6. This is weird, Grandad, I say. I know, this is how my father taught me, with food like this and this exact cutlery. But we didn't waste bread for our pawns. We used coins, shillings and marks. Was your dad really good at chess too? I ask. Yes. Grandad moves his other gherkin to C3. My father was one of the best. So if he taught you, does that mean you are better than he was? Grandad tilts his head like he's thinking about it. I do not like to say, but possibly. I won the German Youth Championship when I was 12. Whoa, you must have been really good. Could you have beaten Bobby Fischer? Perhaps not, but I was okay. Grandad ignores my question and tells me to move my bread to D6. I played all through school, he continues. At first I was rubbish like you. Ha, thanks. Sorry, but it is true. I was very much like you. I couldn't sit still or concentrate. But chess helped me at school and I got quite good at it. Now, cut your sausage. I cut my sausage. Where do I move it, Grandad? Nowhere, he says, grinning. Just eat it. I laugh and put the sausage in my mouth. It's so good to be back in the house with Grandad talking about growing up. He's been my Grandad all my life, but now it's like I'm really getting to know him for the first time. I cut another piece of sausage and we keep eating while we move our mustard, bread and gherkins all over the invisible board. So why did you stop playing? I ask as we play. Grandad stares at the board like he's made a wrong move. I wonder if he's ignoring me or just didn't hear me. Grandad, I say, leaning across the table, if you loved chess so much and you were so good, why did you stop playing? Grandad looks up. His face is serious and his eyes are shining. I've said something wrong, but I don't know what. I look down and push the meat around with my fork. I don't like it when he gets upset. Then I hear his voice, so quiet it's almost a whisper. What's that, Grandad? I said, can you pass the sauce? He asks. I look up. He can reach the sauce. It says H3 right in front of him. Maybe he can't see it. Are you okay, Grandad? I ask. Yes, why do you ask? Because the sauce is right there. I know this, he says, but I don't want it. I just want you to move it. To where? H1. I pick up the sauce and go to move it, but Grandad suddenly reaches out and holds my hand. I try to move it away, but his grip is so tight, my hand is trapped and I can feel him shaking. Grandad, I say, what are you? Shh. He holds a finger up to his lips. Look around. I look around the room at the clock on the sideboard, the picture of Berlin on the wall, Grandma on the mantelpiece, the TV in the corner. No, Grandad shakes his head. Not around you, around the table. I look at all the pieces on the board. What am I supposed to be seeing? I know the pickle is my queen, the mustard is my king. They are still on their squares. They haven't moved. But my knife and fork have advanced up the board, and so have my breads. What does Grandad want me to see? His balls of bread are scattered in the middle of the table. His sauce bottles are isolated in the corners, and a strawberry jam, his king. Do you see it now? Grandad releases his grip slowly and the blood rushes back to my fingers. Have I just won my first game? My face cracks into a grin. Yes, Grandad smiles. You have won your first game.